insurance claim for anything. I'd run the VIN number on it already. There were no, it hadn't been totaled or wrecked or anything. It had just been registered. Okay, that's kind of weird. He did tell me it had been seized in Laredo, Texas, which is right on the Mexican border. And DEA had had it for about a year, and then they flipped it to Laredo, Texas. So, okay, so was it some kind of undercover thing or something? He said, well, it's hard to tell, but you know, with the title, usually if they may do that, if they seize a truck and then decide to use it, like their own undercover stuff, when they're done with it, they just wash the title. That way, the next owner isn't anything associated with whatever badness might have gone on. Whatever. At this point, he could have told me there's a dead body in the back. As long as I got to take that engine off of me, it was great. So I get the truck. You know, every time I have to pay cash for it, just pay cash. So I proceed to get the truck fixed. Pull the crazy exhaust pipe off, put a 5-inch exhaust all the way out the back. The truck dyno with 698 horsepower, 1,158 pounds of torque. It was just a ride to drive. It was, as I said before, you know, a big vehicle like that. Just pulls the tires along, so it was the easiest thing to control. I'd get off on an exit ramp, just tap the gas, and see the rear end out, and just one hand on the wheel. I drove that truck through the side windows as much as I did. I just treated it like I was in some Gymkhana video for like 2 years. Just had such a great time. I raced it. It turned 12s to 4-mile commerce. I spun the tires every chance I get. Of course, I was going through a $2,000 set of tires every 10 months, but I did not care because it was so much fun. But, you know, as they say, the candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long. And all good things come to an end. The engine started making some bad noises. The transmission started shifting kind of funny. And, you know, I looked around for some people who could do this thing. I found a really, really great shop. Always need some parts. They were just going to do that engine backwards and forwards. And they're really talented guys.
Really?
They went through it. They said, well,
right fucking here, doing the stepper.
that was just way out of my budget. But, again, fantastic shop. I was there to see and the shop guys there said, hey, we want to give Jeff a really great Christmas present in the shop. And he's a guitar player. We could make a guitar out of some of these parts from your engine and some of these other trucks and transmission. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to play guitar, but I'm not going to pass it to him. He's like, yes. And I said, yes. So I left the truck with them, scooped up as many parts I could fit in the car, took them back and started cobbling together this guitar. I went to a pawn shop, bought a playable, bought a 6-string electric, just kind of cut out the playable bit and started building this elaborate body around it. Lots of gears. I wanted to capture the mechanical nature of the engine shop, the transmission shop. It came together really well, and I went away with the most fantastic hand-built diesel engine by these guys. So even though the engine is all sorted out in this truck now, the electrical sorted out, everything works, everything is new, we've done axles, we've done transmission, we've done the engine, everything is great. But the sort of nefarious history of this truck is still kind of intriguing. I fixed all the wiring, I rewired it all, got the infrared lights, but you know, I was just trying to figure out like what happened inside this truck. And I had since replaced the radio, we got the kick, the seat, to this day, the seat was still bent back, you know, the visor, like what happened in this truck. So I was over there cleaning it one day, and I was just still kind of getting into nooks and crannies. I was over in that side with the carpets all stained, and the stains in the door panel. Cleaning them, I've got some alcohol and a Q-tip, kind of cleaning them out. A buddy of mine's over there, looking at it, it was like, hold on a second, it's a Hunter, and he goes out in his truck, he comes back with those like blue blood tracker lights, which really only work with like fresh blood, shines it in this kind of Dr. Pepper looking stuff. It was just jet black under the light. He said, dude, that's blood. I got it all cleaned up. I started thinking like, somebody getting killed in this truck. From 2011 to 2006, that truck was just a ghost. It wasn't registered anywhere. I can't find a title on it. So whatever happened with the DEA with this truck, I don't know if they seized it from somebody and then they used it, did something go bad when it was the good guy's truck, did it just go bad when it was the bad guy's truck and they kept it? I don't know. So fast forward another couple of months, and I'm out with a buddy of mine. He was moving. He had a bunch of old Range Rovers, Land Rovers that he was restoring and working on. And I was already there, and the guy kind of showed up late. As he walks up, he said, "Man, his black truck is there." I said, "That was mine." He said, "Man, if you were back in in Texas, I would swear you were the drug smuggler my sister used to date. I was like, wow, yeah, that's pretty crazy. And I kept my mouth shut just in case he still knew as a drug smuggler. So again, I don't know what the history of this truck was, but it's definitely had a very dark past. However, I have tried to give it a brighter future. I've been building this truck into the ultimate overlanding trucks. I have built a custom roof rack for it. I've put my roof tent up on top. I've got all my camping gear. I've built a bed in the back for good spares on the tools. I put a lift kit on it, different tires, on the winch. Put 360-degree lights around it, an awning, a swimming pool, limb risers, all the great stuff. Take it to Kathleen Mountain here in Atlanta. I want to take this truck eventually and drive it from Tierra del Fuego to Rigo Bay. I want to do some big Alaska trips with it. I've done some great road trips, and I'm upgrading this truck for that. It's the ultimate overland truck for me. It's been a great truck. I've met so many people at gas stations and just random people who want to come look at it that have now become great friends of mine. And I plan on keeping this truck forever, despite its nefarious drug smuggling past.
My Rewards Plus Mobile Fueling. Find the open lane and start fueling your ride before getting outside. Just one of many reasons you can download My Rewards Plus, home of Pilot Flying J.
We are water, reaching new shores, alive with energy, connecting what is with what could be.
At Benlucky, we hear stories about all kinds of cars, but there's still nothing like a good Ferrari story. For many of us growing up as young car enthusiasts, that was the dream car. And a lot of these stories are about the good and the bad parts of the journey to ownership. And these are our top 10 Ferrari-related car stories that we've heard over the years here at Benlucky. In fact, the car that's featured in this first one, the 430 Scuderia that was repossessed while I was at Lamborghini Atlanta and was later stick swapped, had an interesting development this week. I was talking to a friend of mine who was ordering a lot of new Ferraris back then, and he started describing the weird interior that he did not mean to order on his Scuderia. As I'm hearing him talk, I said, "Is it this car?" And I pulled up a picture, and in fact, he was the original owner of this car. He had tried to make an interior kind of inspired by the F40 and F50 with red and black, and it came in with all this weird yellow in it. That's obviously how I recognized the car, and it was why he did not want to own it. So within a couple of hours, the dealer sold it to another person, flipped it for a little bit of a premium from SRT, and that's how the journey of this car began. So at Benlucky, we love putting the pieces together, but these are our top 10 Ferrari stories from over the years.
Is this the one?
I think that was the same color combination of that repo Scud. 10 or 20 years ago, it was really popular for particularly sports and exotic car manufacturers to sell cars that were race cars for the road. But of course, lately, things like the McLaren Senna notwithstanding, they've backed away from that a little bit because most enthusiasts have figured out that race cars are awful on the road. The noise, vibration, harshness just makes them terrible. But what we do like as enthusiasts are some race car bits and certainly some race car inspiration on the road cars that we enjoy. And I think Ferrari has probably done the best job of that. They've also been doing it for the longest, not just with their GTO Sense cars, but really with their end-of-run mid-engine V8 cars. Because starting with the 348 in the Serie Speciale and going into the 355 Fiorano and the 360 Challenge Stradale and the 430 Scuderia 16M, the 458 Speciale and Speciale Terza, and then now the Pista on the 488. Each of these cars kind of represents what most enthusiasts would say they wanted the cars to be from the beginning. And generally, they would say that they're road versions of the race versions of the original road versions of their cars, and they tend to be a great way to kind of boost sales